Hi, hello, g'day, kia ora, or welcome to the studio. I'm Paula from MoxyMojo. Thank you for joining me for the 12th of December, and our prompt for Dephemerember is bookmark and clear packaging. No snacks today, and it is really hot, so I'm on the water rather than the tea. Okay, bookmark and clear packaging. Sounds simple enough. Right, so I've got this piece of scrap, hanging file folder that I thought would make a good base for what I want to create. Because what I want to do is, it's inspired by one of the scraps that Robin sent me, and it's this. So this is a little wee bookmark. Well, I'm guessing it's got paper clip on the back, and it says hold my sentence with a window in the middle. So I'm wanting to make essentially a larger version of this with a hidden paper clip so you don't see it. I thought that would be a really cool idea, because most bookmarks we know go down from the top, or at least the ones I've ever seen. I have occasionally seen some that sit on the corner to mark your page, but I've not seen any that sit across the page. And I was thinking, if this was like my book and I could slide the bookmark onto where I'm up to, because I am forever losing my place in my book because I'm always getting interrupted. So I thought that would be pretty cool, but I need to make sure I can get it to stay on and hang on and it be obvious where I'm up to. So that's the plan. And yes, I know I've already done a hidden paper clip, but I'm okay with that because it's all about showing different ways of using the components that we've made. So our starting base is a hidden paper clip, and yes, I've made these before. I showed you how to do them in the first video, and that was page tab and moth eaten lace. So if you haven't seen it, go back to that and I'll show you how I made these hidden paperclip bases. So that's done. Easy. Now we're going to start to create the actual piece that is going to sit on the page. So this is our builder base. Now we're on to our creating the space. And what I want to do, so first of all, I know that I need to hide this. So whatever it is needs to hide there. I also need to build in the fact that I've got a little bit sticking out. Not as much as I thought. Okay, and that's because of the way that I create these compared to how Robin's done it. So you can see that mine barely sticks out, but Robin sticks out quite a bit. I like this for this particular piece because it makes it easier to see where we're at in the book. So that's just something we need to bear in mind. So let's start off with, first thing we need to do is I need to decide what size window I'm going to make. And so I have cut out some holes. I've got a 1-inch hole and a 3/8, 5/8 of an inch. Yeah, 5/8 of an inch hole. And I looked at my book page and said, okay, well, the 1 inch shows you about 7 lines, so that doesn't really let you know where you're up to. Whereas the 5/8 shows you only 5 lines, So that at least narrows it down a bit. And by the time you add extra around the side, I think I'm going to go with that one. So we're going with the 5/8 as our hole punch to create our window in the middle. So let's get started with that. The next thing is how wide are we going to make it? I can make that 1/4 inch. So there. And then I could make that. So that would maybe bring it down to 1.5 inches. So that's there. Yeah, I think that's more manageable. I think that's like more realistic in terms of size, because I don't want it like overly big. Okay, so here we go. Now, my journal size is, where's my piece of paper? So my general journal size is this size. So this is like 5 3/4. So I don't think I want it any longer than 5.5. So that is 14 centimeters. And of course this only goes to 11. So we need to mark on here what we want to do. Now we've got to go beyond our page a little bit. So if we make that end 5, so that brings, no, 5.5. Yep, so maybe 5, because that way we're not going to be like into the spine too much. So if we make that 5 from there, end of the paper clip. So if I do it that way, slide our paper clip down. So we've got 5 inches to there. And then I want to hang a charm off the end because, hey, page jewellery. So if we add another 1/2 inch, so yeah, 5.5 will give us enough room for an eyelet on the end. Okay, so 5.5, remember that? So we want 5.5, which we need to mark because our thingy doesn't go, our chopper doesn't go, our baby chopper, that is, doesn't go that big. So we're going at 5.5. Now, while we're at it, we might as well cut some more. So that we need to then do a inside layer, because we've got to have 4 layers for this, I've worked out. So we need this one to be, and so if that one's going to be 5.5, so it's got to go to there. This one needs to be, I'd say 4 3/4. Okay, so we've got A is 5.5, B is 4, and we said 3/4, didn't we? So 4 and, so hang on, so there, let's measure, that's our, so this one's going to be, yep, 4 3/4, 4 3/4, and then C is over the back, so we need to cover this, so then that is that plus 1/2 inch, so we need, so let's go to there, so 2 plus, oh, it's 1 3/4 plus 1/2 inch, so that's 2 1/4, so that is 2 1/4, plus I want 1/4 inch, and then, so that's 1 3/4, so that one comes to there. So then we want that one at 1 3/4. And then D is 1 3/4. Right. It'll all make sense once we make it. So now we're going to have these two back together, and that'll be on this side of the paper clip. There and there. And then these two will be on this side of the paper clip, there and there. And that way we'll have it hidden quite nicely. Right, so paper clip. So now we're going to round all of our corners. So we have our 4 bits. So these two I don't need to do anything else to at this stage. These two here, so I'm going to mark on here because this needs to be precise for a change. So we've got our 1 1/2, so I need to do the middle, which is 3/4 and 3/4, so about there. So it's 3/4, and now we're looking at 5/8. Oh no, we're going to do it down a bit, so we want to mark the quarter. So 1/4 and 5/8, and then up here we're marking 1/4 and 5/8. So if I draw, and I don't know if you're going to see that, so let's draw a line with the Sharpie because hopefully that won't go through. So we've got there to there and there. So that gives me my line. Yeah, right, and then there's that mark there and there. Right, so that's there. And then I want it to be at least about 1/2 inch in. So there is the middle. So, because I'm looking at, okay, where am I punching my things? Now, this one, whoops, come here. So this one, now I need to be shorter than my paper clip. Where's my paper clip? Lost my paper clip. Did I put it back in there? I must have put it back in there. So this one needs to be shorter than there. Oops, wrong end. So how long are we going to be? So that's that end too. Let's do 3 inches. So it's not going to be a really long window unless we use the shorter paper clip. So how long is that going to be? Yep, so it's gone from 3 inches to 3 3/4 inches. I think maybe we'll use the shorter paper clip. Okay, so 3 3/4 inches from there. Three and 3/4 inches. Whoops, didn't even mark. What's happening? That's better. Right, so then I'm going to punch this one, or do we do it together? Let's try doing it together. So I'm going to use my paper clip to hold this together and this one. And then here's our punch. So we're coming in from this side. No, we can't make it. Okay, we will use this. So all is not lost. I'm just going to have to do it by hand. The big question is do they line up? So we're going this way. And I've drawn on the wrong side because that's the way I want it. Okay, well, that's easy solved. We can have our words below because, yeah, I'm not recutting it. We have now our window frame. Right, so this one and then the longer one of these two, we are going to cover in this paper from Robin because I thought it looked so cool. Imagine having that in your journal. You're just gonna, or your book, you're just gonna want to read. And now we can get that in there. Awesome. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that down there, and then I can stick that down there. What I am going to do now is cut around here, so it's a slice up the middle. It's the first time I've even cut this stuff. And then we need to cut this one as well. And then we're going to do, yep, that's about 1/4 inch. And then continue on up here. What I'm going to do now is around these corners, I'm going to snip right into the corner. It's cut. We're going to do the same around this one. Here's where the tricky bit is. What I need to do is cut down the middle. So I'm going to gently stab my scissors in the middle there and cut a straight line to about 1/4 inch out from the end. So a wee bit closer. And then I'm going to do like a Y. So I've got a triangle right on the end, and then another one. So I've got 3 triangles on that end. And then we'll turn around and do the same for the other end. So, triangle, then triangle, and triangle. Now I think I'm going to have to shorten this because it is longer than the bit I'm going to wrap. So that's okay. This side isn't a problem, but this one is. So we will shorten this one. Actually, I'm going to start this side. And I'm just going to trim it until it's about 1/8 of an inch. Right, there we go. So we can hold on to those scraps. The other side should be fine. That end is fine. That's fine. So now we also need to do the same with this side. And we're going to trim about there. And it is purely because, and I can like stop there, because I don't want these two to cause the other problems. Now I need to glue this down. So I'm going to glue the corner. And we're going to come in with 1 and then 2. So I'll do the corners first. So I've got the corners in there, so they're looking rounded now. So we will do this short end. That looks so cool. And that's the back. Right, I'm going to carry on and do this one. Okay, that is looking particularly awesome. And that is the back. You'll see I ended up cutting more slits into the triangles here. And that gave me a nicer curve compared to here, where I'd only done the 3. But I worked out that I needed more after, as I was doing this one. So, there we go. So the next thing is now we're going to create our window in there. And I've got some various different packaging here. So I've got a couple of bags that had, I think, like stencil. This was definitely a stencil, like stencils in them, which I like, but they are a wee bit flimsy, especially as this is like a double layer. So I think I'm going to avoid those. I'll use them for something else. But I've got these heavier weight plastics. Now this is a bag which is quite good, and I could just cut a strip off the top and that would be long enough. Or I've got this, and this I took off a curtain sampler. So, that's packaging. This was protecting the whatever was underneath. And this is like the heaviest weight plastic. So, that could quite, happily go in there. Because this is like a flat sheet. So, I think we're going with this. That's 1.5 inches. But I need it in centimetres, which is, if I cut it at 3.8 centimetres, then we should be good. that will fit in there, is it? Yep. So next big thing is can I corner around these? So we're going in, and that's a no. Oh no, we managed it. I just need to make sure oops, I've lost the bit that flew at me. I just need to make sure I put it in properly. Awesome. That was cool. I didn't expect that to chop. That is ready to go on our paper clip. Awesome. Here comes the big test of can we stick the plastic in between those two layers. I need to make sure that the paper clip is going to stay in position. So that is there. So now we align this one up. And there. Make sure that our window is lined up. Oops, and okay, we can see the glue there. So, but that's where we've got to cover it up. So now we just need to make sure we have good contact. And no glue coming out. Alright. Here we go. So that's coming in that side. Awesome. For the back, we're going to put the inside in first. And then this we can, because when we put this one over, we're going to line up the end here so that the front and back are the same, and we need to make sure that this lines up as well. So we'll pull that out just a smidge. So now what we're going to do is we will glue all on this. We're going to stick that onto the back bit of cardboard and this little top tab of the front. We've now got both sides of that paper clip attached to each other. Now we want our page to make sure it's going to slide on, and it does. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like, our bookmark, and that side there. Awesome. So now what we need to do is cover here and add a charm on here. So I need to pick one of these eyelets. I've got a couple of big ones, but then I've got small ones, and I wanted gold because I think that's going to match in to the colour the best. So now that one should work. So we're going to go and put that in about 1/2 inch. And there's our hole. Check I've got it the right way up and squish. Whoops, and it's on a slight angle. I forgot to check that. But there we go. We have our eyelet in. Now we need some decoration from there. Okay, so what I want to do is draw a great big arrow. Now, how do I want it to go from down the bottom up to the top? So we're going to do like a arrow. And there. Right, that looks like a pretty cool arrow. Even if I had to draw on the wrong side of the right side of the paper to get it. That's going to be our arrow. This is Stupendous Clear Embossing Ink. So I think I'm going to do this. Right, so there, and then let's see if this is worked enough. Whoops. Oops, now I've got to get my tweezers. So somehow I've got to get it picked up there. Oops, no, didn't mean to drop it. That's right, shake the embossing powder all over your fingers, Paula. Right, so yeah, there's definitely some blank spots. But pretty good coverage. Let's heat emboss, shall we? So I'm just gonna like leave that, and that is gonna do us. We have our arrow now, which is pretty big. So I'm going to put that needs to go there. So I've got to do my little wee line here, my line of script, which I'm just going to stamp onto this white cardstock using black archival, and I've already made up my message here, or part of my message here. So hopefully we can get it nice and tidy and straight. You were up, and then I need to change it, and now we need to try and get it straight. So up, you were up, I can always cut these words out individually. To here, yes, that's what we wanted, because it's quite long, isn't it? So yes, we need to trim it down. So let's just go and slice these up. Don't need that. So now we're going to trim these down. And that means I can trim off any over stamping or over inking. And I looked at the quotes that, you know, Tanya gave me, the Tim Holtz stamps, but alas, there were nothing that I wanted. So we don't always have a winner. Right, you were And now I need to decide, am I going to ink around them, and if so, what colour? You were, whoops, up. Because I can always put these on the arrow too. I hadn't thought of that. So we want to just ink these to match. And so this is all part of our, you know, dressing the face of our creation. You know, and if don't be afraid to use coloured inks if you've got them. Oh yeah, that's what we want. I love seeing like colours in journals that are unexpected. But then, you know, I'm a bright colours person. I'm not a pastel person. And I know these are really small, and sorry, I hope you can see them. Up. Oops, it's a bit excessive inking, never mind. That's what you get for a 2-letter word. Up to here. Alright. Now, we'll leave that out because we might ink something else. Now, so we're going to put these on because, well, no, let's just place them where we want them. You were, because then that will determine where we put our decorations. And I don't want, that's going to stick out a wee bit. So thankfully it's like coloured paper, pattern paper, or cardstock up to, and I want that here. So now what are we going to, how are we going to decorate this? This and this, and I want some of that, I think. I don't think I'm going to use that Harrow's card. I am going to use one of these, but which one? I think that one, because it's got the yellow and gold. Don't want to introduce too many colours. So now this is going to be our backdrop. So do we need that sticker? So if I just tear there, so long as that sticker will fit on there. Yep. So this is a piece of handmade paper. Then I've got those gold bits. So that can go, that can go. Got these gold bits. Don't need those. I need to clear my desk of what I don't need. Then I want some of this that's like narrower, so we're going to that but longer. So that'll do for now. And I might, because I want it, because we're going with that one, aren't we? Yep. And that can sit off there quite nicely. But then I do like this. So I'm just going to tear up here these paint spots. And this Tanya sent to me last year, I think. And I just held on to it because I thought it was so cool. And where and how are we going to put it? So maybe we just put that over there and put that on top. So if I tear it off at that stage there, doesn't matter if we've lost half the O. So there and there. And then that's going to go over there. Oops, so we need to, that's what we need to check. So we're going to move that there. So that's going to go there. And we're going to have our arrow over the top. Okay, so yep, that's what I wanted to check. So we need to leave that aside. We're going to do this bit first. And I might actually tear that down there so that fits on there better. But then I haven't put any of this gold on, and I was thinking about putting this gold on. So maybe can we put that, but then we're getting, no, we're getting too busy. That and there, because that's going to be a focal gold. So let's know, we're not going to worry. So we've got that, we've got that. Alright, so that needs to go on there. Whoops, I'm picking up paper left, right and centre. Alright, so we're going from there down to about there. And sitting that there. Nice. That's what we want. Then I just need to tear that one because I don't like how even it is. And we're going to put that there. And that can go there. And then we've got our sticker. And like, I don't mind if that is there. Actually, what we might do is, can we tear that? So, no, we might have to cut it like it's been torn. Alright. So I need to there. That's better. So we're going to put that there as if it had been torn off. So now, so this is sticker paper, I believe. So yep. So that's cool because we get to see what was under there. And then that's going there. So where are we gluing? So I'm just going to do, we want there and to there. Alright. Okay, so here we go. We're gluing across there to there. going to make sure that sticks down. Right. That, whoops. Make sure you put your scissors away safely, Paula. Now, we want that on there. And we need to make sure, no, we haven't got glue there, but we do need to make sure we haven't got glue there. Right. Right, so that, then we're going to put that on there. I want that arrow to end up right in the middle, so I'm going to glue this and then place it. Now the question is, where is our glue going? It can go all over because it's going to fit on. Awesome. I didn't think it was. So glue. So yeah, oh look, some of this glue's drying already. Hurry up. Right. And then, so that needs to be right in the middle. And that needs to be up there. Yep. Cool. Alright, so now we need to place these. So this one we know is here. Up to here. So there we go. You were up to here. So where's a page? So here's a page, and I'll just put this on here because it's a bit flimsy. So it will go, and it just slides on so nicely, and there you go. Well, you'd probably stop in the, you wouldn't stop in the middle of a chapter, would you? No, you'd stop on a new chapter, or a new paragraph. So there. I like that very much. It's it took forever, I know that, but doesn't it look cool? I love that. Oh, we haven't got our charm on it. We haven't got a charm. Right, so on here, in here, in here, in here. Right, so extra ones of those. I did pull out that ribbon, but no. Now, I was actually, so I've got a bulb pin, but I might need to find like a gold pin rather than the black one. It's an ordinary gold safety pin. I was wanting a bulb pin, but that'll do for the moment, and I'll have to go look for one because, yeah, the black just doesn't look right. And we will put that there, and then I'm probably going to go with this one. Actually, I think that does need to be a bulb pin. Just hangs better. And I'm gonna, I don't want that dangling down too much, so we've got that chain, and this is an earring, an old earring. And then where's the top? So there, and I think we'll do it there. And then through there. In, and then that hangs down. So there we go, our little wee charms. Apart from that charm's around the wrong way, and that's going to annoy me now. That's better. So I've got to find a gold ball pin, but that is our prompt finished. I love it. I love it. Favourite colour combination. I love the teal, or the peacock feathers, and the gold just looks stunning. So I hope you like that as much as what I do. And thank you for joining me here in the studio with me complaining about the heat and how sweaty I am and how dry I am. But thank you. I love you all, and I will see you back in the studio for the next prompt. Bye for now.